सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। हरिः ओम् श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्. In Bhagavad Gita, we are in the 4th chapter, completed up to 30th sloka. And we have to take up 31st now. Before that, we'll have a quick recap of what transpired in the last class. Paramatma suggested 12 different yajnas. The word yajna he used for sadhanas or disciplines. He suggested 12 disciplines, and each discipline he called it as an yajna. The first one is Daiva Yajna. Daiva Yajna means Nitya Puja. Whatever is the daily puja we perform, Nitya Naimittika Puja, daily puja before the altar is the Daiva Yajna. And the second one is Indriya Samyama Yajnam. Having control on the sense organs is Indriya Samyama Yajnam. This is a very important yajnam because the sense organs, they play a real havoc in one's own life. They make a person a slave if not checked, if not mastered. So, Indriya Samyama Yajnam is a very important yajnam. The third one is Indriya Vishayabhoga Yajnam. Now, in the moment I say Indriya Samyama Yajnam, it doesn't advocate that we should not totally curb the Indriyas. We cannot totally, make the Indriyas inactive. That is not the idea. Indriyas do function. They are always in contact with Indriya Vishaya Vastus. Like eyes are in contact with scenes, ears are in contact with sounds, music, then tongue is in contact with various tastes. Like that, the skin is in contact with various touches. So that way, these Indriyas, they spread 5 different worlds in front of us. This is called the Indriya Vishaya Bhoga Yajnam. Indriya Vishaya means the objects of Indriyas. For eyes, the scenes; for ears, sounds; for tongue, the taste; for skin, the touch; for nose, the smell. Like that, we have got 5 Indriya Vishaya Bhogas are there. Now, the yajna means you should process. You can have the Indriya Vishayabhogam. You cannot stop it altogether. So, when you are enjoying the Indriya Vishayabhogam, you should have filter. How do you have filter? You should see right things. You should hear right things. You should taste right things. Like that, you should have filter. After this, the 4th yajna is Atma Samyama Yajnam. Atma Samyama Yajnam means the mastery over mind. Mastery over mind is a very, very important yajnam because unless you check the mind, the Indriyas are not totally under your control. Because the mind is the master of Indriyas. Only if mind blesses the Indriyas, they do act upon. So, the mind must be totally in control, or you must master the mind. How you can do that? You can do it by meditation. Meditation is the best process to have mastery over the mind. By mastery over the mind, you can have control on indriyas, and also you can have focused mind. You can have one-pointed focus if you have Atma Samyamanam. So this is one very important yajna. The Indriya Samyama Yajna is called Damo Yajna. Atma Samyama Yajna is called Samo Yajna. So both we should have. After this, Paramatma suggested Dravya Yajnam. Dravya Yajnam is charity. So he classified charity also as an yajna. It is a discipline. One in one's life must do charity because that is the only opportunity. When you are in this body, you have the greatest opportunity to do charity. So we have 5 different, Panchamaha Yajnas. In all 5 different Panchamaha Yajnas, you can do charity. So charity is one yajna. This is what one must take up. Then this yajna is called Dravya Yajna. Tapo Yajna. Tapo Yajna is the willful self-denial. Willful self-denial means you can willfully, take up Mauna Vratam, or you can take up Ayyappa Diksha, or all these yajnas are tapo yajnas. They are called austerities. So these austerities are willful self-denial. So this is one yajna. But while doing yajna, you should do it with a real feeling. That is not just only for that period you have to do it and then relax altogether. Like I have seen some of my friends who were into alcohol. They used to do this Ayyappa Diksha. During the Diksha, they were very strict. But immediately after the Diksha is over, they stop in Madras and then again take up this alcohol. So this is not the way. Once you take up Ayyappa Diksha, you must you must see if you are rid of those bad habits for a mandala time, then you should continue that for life. That is the idea. There was another person who is known to me. He also used to have this Diksha. He used to tell his wife, you see, I am in this dress, that is why I am sparing. I am noting all these points. Once I come out of this dress, I will see. Like that he used to threaten. So that is not the idea. The Diksha or the mastery is for good. So mental discipline, pranayama like this, he gave 12 disciplines. Then we have what is called yoga, Patanjala yoga. Ashtanga Yogam is there. This Ashtanga Yogam is very important and it is very much accepted in our scriptures. Then Swadhyayam. Swadhyayam means Parayana of the scriptures. So this is one kind of yajna which we have to necessarily do it and without fail. Then Jnana Yajnam. Jnana Yajnam is here the knowledge of the mundane things. This is called Apara Vidya. Like the knowledge of how to do the rituals and how to do various things in this world, like physics, chemistry, maths, like this. All these things are called Jnana Yajnam. Then Pranayama Yajnam, performing pranayama. You have to learn pranayama under an able and a good practitioner of pranayama. Then the 11th one is Ahara Niyama Yajna. You should have regulation of food. And this is very important. Taking food as you like and eat any amount is not suggested here. And the final and the ultimate one is Brahma Yajnam. Brahma Yajnam means self-knowledge. Brahma Yajnam or Atma Vidya Yajnam. This is called the self-knowledge, knowing about oneself. This is an yajna by itself. So one should take up this Brahma Yajna, and this will lead you to liberation. Rest all 11 yajnas are preparatory yajnas. They prepare you for Brahma Yajna. Mental discipline, pranayama, like this, Paramatma gave 12 spiritual disciplines, of which the self-knowledge is also one of the sadhanas. He named all sadhanas one by one as yajna. We should remember that all these disciplines can be called sadhanas only when they fulfill two conditions. We can call them yajnas. Otherwise, they become sadhanas. What are the two conditions? The first condition is they must involve God. They must involve God. The second condition is the spiritual growth. The second condition is the spiritual growth they must talk about. We will see the 31st sloka first and then go further. Yajna Sishtamruta Bhujo Yanti Brahma Sanatanam Nayam Lokosya Yajnasya Kutonya Kuru Sattama. He Kuru Sattama, Yajna Sishta Amruta Bhujaha Sanatanam Brahma Yanti Ayajnasya Ayam Lokaha Na Asti Kutaha Anyaha. He Kurusattama, hey great personality of Kuru dynasty, you have to take yajna system. Yajna system means yajna prasada. So, by doing the activities in the name of God, the yajna param becomes yajna system. Whatever you are doing, you are calling it as an yajna and bringing the divine element into it. And the yajna phalam, such an action will yield some phalam. That phalam becomes yajna system. Yajna system means the yajna prasadam. When you perform an yajna, there will be a prasada. The naivedya will be given and you take the prasada. So that yajna prasada is called yajna system. So whoever eats that yajna system, yajna prasadam, they can go to that eternal Brahman. That means they can get liberation. That is what this sloka says. On the contrary, ayajnasya ayam lokaha nasti kutaha anyaha. That is what Paramatma is saying. Ayajnasya means the one who is not performing, one who is not doing any yajna. For him, there is no loka for him in this world. This world itself is a is a very difficult thing. He cannot have the full enjoyment. For such a person, ayam lokaha nasti. Ayam lokaha nasti means not even this loka is there. Kutaha anyaha. Where is the question of the higher realms of heaven? So we said that when we call an yajna, a sadhana as an yajna, we should involve two things. I already told you. What are the two things? First condition is we must bring God or involve God in that sadhana. If you involve God in that sadhana, it becomes an yajna. So this is the first condition. For example, we are doing pranayama or pranayama. When you are doing pranayama, for every count you can insert a mantra. You have to do 5 count. For 5 counts, 5 times mantra. So that becomes yajna. Then, say for example, you are doing Parayanam, Lalita Sahasranama Parayanam. You want to chant some 108 times. By bringing a group, usually people do this. So when they do this Parayanam, what they do at the end of the Parayanam, there will be a small puja and they offer prasadam. There will be a small puja at the end of the ritual called Parayanam. So in that Parayanam, they offer Naivedyam and all that. Everything involves God. And that prasadam, whatever the prasadam is called, yajna system. Now, second condition, the first condition is bringing God or divinizing the activity is called the first condition to call a sadhana as an yajna. The second condition is spiritual sadhana can be called an yajna only if you have the motive as the spiritual growth. If your motive is for the local improvement, it is not called an yajna. The yajna, it becomes only if you have the motive as the spiritual growth. Your objective must be spiritual growth. Like nowadays they have the Gita for management, Gita for your personal improvement. Like that, they are using this Bhagavad Gita for the improvement of your personality and management, like that. Nothing wrong, but it is not called an yajna because the motive is not a spiritual growth. The motive is to perform your action efficiently and get more profit. So if you want to call a sadhana as an yajna, you have to necessarily bring the divine element into it. Then Paramatma gave 12 different sadhanas. It is not necessary one has to perform all 12 sadhanas. Of the 11 sadhanas, which are called Dravya Yajna, or they are also called Karma Yajnas, because they are not the Atma Vidya. They only help you in cleansing your antakarnas, cleansing your mind. Certain sadhanas are they are not advisable for all people. Like Upavasam is not advised to a diabetic patient. Similarly, in yoga, Ashtanga yoga, we have said asanas and all that. The forward bending is not advised for a person who is having backache. So like that, you have to select which one is, useful to me and which one is possible for me. So like that, you have to select a particular asana and then take it up. There is this Yajnavidaha. Yajnavidaha means they are all Yajna Anushtainaha. Those who perform these yajnas, when they take the bath, there is a suktam called Agamarshana Suktam. In that Agamarshana Suktam, what they says, O Lord Varuna. Varuna is the presiding deity of water. So when I take snanam, I address the Lord in waters and say, yesterday, O Lord, I have overeaten. In some business meeting, overeaten in such a way which is not to be eaten. Ati Ashanam is papam. Ati Panam is also papam. Drinking too much is also papam. I drank what is not to be taken, consumed. So I have taken variety of things which are not supposed to be taken by me. So kindly pardon me. So like this Agamarshana Suktam is there. So this way we have got many Prayaschitta karmas also. So that is how a person brings a divine element in his daily life. So when he is always in contact with God, then the cleansing process will take place. On the contrary, that is what when you bring God into your daily life and then eat that prasadam, yajna system. When you eat that yajna system, you are entitled for Brahmaloka or you are entitled for liberation. You are entitled for liberation means you will go to the Brahma Yajnam and learn about your self-knowledge and then stay in that knowledge and get liberated. That is the idea. Not Sakshat Moksham, but Arat, Paramparaya. And he also used a particular word, Ayajnasya Ayam Lokaha Na Asti, Nasti. Ayajnasya, one who is indisciplined, one who doesn't care about these yajnas and sadhanas, one who wants to live on his own, then he is not having sukham in this loka. He is not entitled for this loka. And Anya lokas also he is not entitled. Where is the question of Anya loka? These people, they got wrong concept of freedom or wrong concept of human right. Why should I follow some scripture? Why should I follow some guru? I am a human being. I am a free person. Whatever I want, I will do. So this is the behavior and this is the thinking pattern. So for such a ayajnasya, for such a mundane person, ayam lokaha nasti, this lokam is not there, anyaha kutaha. Anyaha kutaha means where is the question of the higher realms of heaven? Higher realms of heaven is also, he is, foregoing. This is the meaning of this sloka. Then we'll proceed to 32nd sloka. Evam bahuvida yajnaha vitata brahmano mukhe karmajan vidditan sarvan evam jnatva vimokshase. Evam bahuvida yajnaha Brahmana mukhe vitata santi. Tvam तान् सर्वान् कर्मजान् विद्धि एवं ज्ञात्वा त्वं विमोक्ष्यसे. In this manner, many types of yajnas are elaborated in the pages of Vedas. Know them all to be born of action. Having known thus, you will be free. Having known thus means by knowing them only you will not get liberated. This is the meaning given in the sense that you have to understand these different yajnas, and then those yajnas you have to perform in order to cleanse your antakaras and then get yourself qualified, approach a guru, learn self-with self-knowledge, and then get liberated. This is the idea. So here Krishna Paramatma gives 12 yajnas as sample yajnas. This is not an exhaustive list. We have got hundreds of yajnas in Veda. He borrowed some yajnas from Vedas and presented and showcased them as some sample yajnas. He mentioned in the beginning, Sakale neha mahata yogo nasta parantapa. He said in the beginning of this chapter, over the long passage of time, all these, the karma kanda, the yajnas are all, they are totally vanished because there is nobody practicing this. Sayevayam maya tedya yoga proktah puratana bhaktosme saka cheti rahasyam hetaduttamam. So, that very ancient and very secretive knowledge I want to revoke and then initiate you into that knowledge. Why I should initiate to you? Because you are my bhakta, sakha. You are dear to me and you are my devotee. That is why I want to give you. Out of the 12, one is called Jnana Yajna or Brahma Yajna, that gives you the Atma Vidya, self-knowledge. Other yajnas, the yajnas for cleansing process. Paramatma calls them as Dravya Yajna. We can also call them as Karma Yajnas. So, one is Jnana Yajna and all others are Karma Yajna. Remember, even meditation or Dhyanam or Upasana, that also comes under Karma Yajna only. Once you have classified all the yajnas into the two groups, you should know what is the role of these two. So, whenever we are getting into a train, that too, you want to transit. Transit means you have to change the train or a flight. You have to go to some place like Dubai or some place, and then from Dubai you change the flight and go to your destination. So here, in the transit journey, you should know where to go, ultimate destiny, and you should know where to get down and where to change the flight. This is very important. You should not continue your first flight till the end of the destiny. If you continue your first flight till the end of the journey, then you don't reach your designated destiny. So in the same way, the karma yajna is not for life. Karma yajna, you have to do it until the time you get sadhana chatushtaya sampannam. You have to get qualified. Once you get qualified and get refined, Then you have to shift, like you take the other flight, that is Jnana Yajnam, and then reach the final destiny called the moksham or liberation. So this is very important. If you do not realize this, and if you want to continue karma yajna throughout your life, this is one problem. Majority of the people, they are into karma yoga. Karma yoga means they are into karma kanda, and they want to continue the karma kanda until the last breath. They don't want to listen anything about Atma Vidya. They're so stubborn. Either they are stuck to meditation or they are stuck to the karma. Karma means the puja adhikam, all these rituals. We have got 11, the list of 11 yajnas. So all these 11 yajnas are good enough to make you ready for Jnana Yajnam. You must understand it's a 2-course lifestyle. Take up Karma Yajna and prepare yourself, get qualified, and then change the flight. That is Jnana Yajna. So this is something like your transit journey. One must understand this and then act accordingly. Karma yajnas can only give purification of the mind. Na karmana, na prajaya, na dhanena, tyage naike amrutatva manasu. So, not by karma, you get the direct moksha. Tamevam vidvan amrutaiha bhavati, nanyah panta ayanaya vidyate. Purusha Suktam also says, Jnanam alone will give you the moksha. Sampasyam brahma paramam yati nanyena hetuna. So this Brahma can be attained only by Jnanam. So it is said in all scriptures and established logically that you have a choice only in getting purity. If you want to get purity, you have got lot of methods. Like you can take up karma, you can take up meditation, you can do umpteen kinds of yajnas. Here in this particular Gita, here in this particular chapter, Paramatma gave sample of 11 yajnas. However, there are so many yajnas. Any one of them or combination of them you can take up and then get yourself cleansed up. So for purity there are many ways. But for Jnanam there is only one way. There are no multi-methods. There are no multi-paths. For moksham, for liberation, Jnanam and Jnanam alone is the way. If you do karma, you get purified, no doubt, and don't enter into Jnana Yoga. You get purified, but you are only, earlier, before taking up karma, you were impure Ajnani. Now you are a pure Ajnani. It won't give you moksha. If you want moksha, necessarily you have to take up Jnana Yoga. So Arjuna, may you know, Viddhi Sarvan means may you know all these yajnas and take up and get yourself qualified and then start the Jnana Yajnam. That is the suggestion given by Paramatma. Evam jnatva vimokshase. Evam jnatva means by taking up karma and thereafter the Jnana Yajnam. So here Paramatma says there are two things. One is called Karma Yajnam and Jnana Yajnam. So if you take mere karma yajna, your spiritual journey is incomplete. If you take up only jnana yajna without karma yajna, the spiritual journey, the moksham is impossible. So you have to take both, one after the other. Start with karma yajna, then proceed to jnana yajna. This is the scheme. So this is what he said, you should evam jnatva, by knowing this, vimokshase. Vimokshase means you get liberated. 33rd sloka. Sreyan dravyamayad yajnat jnana yajnah parantapa sarva karma kilam parda jnane parisamapyate. O Arjuna, jnana yajna is superior to other yajnas involving material. O Arjuna, every action without exception culminates into jnanam. So, if you don't take up jnanam, it is like, pedaling that static cycle. In the gym, you do that, static cycle, you do the cycling. So, even if you do that cycling for about half an hour, you don't move an inch forward. In the same way, the karma yajnas will not give you moksham, because their purpose is only to cleanse and give you, concentration. Chitta suddhi and chitta ekagrata. These are the two objectives of karma yajna. So, sarva karma akilam. Sarvam akhilam karma, all karmas without exception, will find their fulfillment only in jnana yajna. This is one meaning. Once you finish all your karma yajna, you must take up jnana yajna. That is the culmination. This is what Paramatma wants to say. Sarvam karmakilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Jnane parisamapyate means they must culminate in jnana. Again, I am telling you, the karma means it includes meditation also. Some people think that meditation is not there in this world, so meditation will give you directly moksha. They try to decipher this particular sloka like that. That is not true. Mere meditation will not give you moksham. May you understand. Sarvam karmakilam partha jnane parisamapyate. Sarvam karmakilam partha means by all karma yajnas, they must culminate, they must end up with jnana yajna. This is first meaning. There is yet another meaning. From this, you should also understand the very important point. When I say jnana yajna alone is the direct means, a person may decide, after all jnana yajna is the direct means and karma yajna is indirect, go through karma yajna and then go through jnana yajna and be free. This is meaning number one. The second meaning is, Krishna says, all karma phalam, all the karma phalas are included in jnana phala. Samapyate means antarbhavati. Jnane antarbhavati. In the jnanam, all the karma phalas are included. Jnanam is superior to karma. Sreyan dravyamayat. Sreyan Dravyamayat compared to Dravya Yajna. Sreyan, this is superior to Dravyamayam. Dravyamayam means the Dravya Yajnas, all Karma Yajnas, they are inferior, and there is one which is superior to this. What is that? Jnana Yajnaha. He Parantapa, Jnana Yajnaha, Dravyamayat Shreyan. Dravyamayat Shreyan means this is superior. Shreyan Bhavati. So this is superior to all Karma Yajnas. So Jnana Yajnam is superior to your karma and also Dhyanam. Then all karma phalas, by doing karma yajna you get karma phalam. Every karma phalam is included by the jnana yajna. Why? Because the jnana yajna is superior and it will give you infinite anandam. You get that purnatva siddhi, aham purnaha asmi. So that purnatva siddhi is there for you. When you are having that purnatva siddhi, then you don't have the desire to run around. Having that purnatvam, you feel that you have you can really enjoy the anandam. Having that purnatva siddhi, you can really enjoy the anandam. So for the sake of anandam, you just run around. You think that anandam is outside and then you run around. Here, once you get that anandam within yourself, then there is no running around. So all the karma phalas are included in the jnana phalam. It is like this, if you have a crore rupees with you, then crore rupees will include lakhs, hundreds, tens, ones, and all these numbers are included in 1 crore. In the same way, when you start enjoying the jnana phalam, all the karma phalas are included. Yavanardha udapane sarvata samplutodake tavan sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanata. Paramatma gave this example in the chapter 2. He says that take a huge, pure water lake, something like Lake Superior in America. So whatever is the benefit that river gives, you can go for boating, you can take bath, you can drink the water, you can irrigate. So all the benefits which you get by waters, which you get by a well, which you get by a bore well, which you can get by a pond, which you can get by a river. So all the benefits are included in this great river, because this is huge. It can give all the benefits of the small water bodies. So evanardha udapane sarvata samplutodake. That way the jnanam can give you all the benefit of the karma. So this is the meaning of the sloka. Second meaning it is. So once again, the first meaning is jnanam is superior because it is direct means of liberation through which everybody has to go through. Without jnanam, one cannot get liberation. This is the first meaning. The second meaning is jnanam is superior because in the benefit of jnanam, all other karma phalams are included. Now naturally, now we are all interested in knowing what is that jnana. So Paramatma advertised a lot about jnana yajna, and now he wants to introduce, just like an advertisement. In newspapers, you will see in one particular place, they will say, tomorrow you watch this column. Tomorrow when you look at that column, you will say, day after tomorrow you look at this column again. You will see something wonderful. Like that 2-3 days he will advertise, and finally he advertises his product. The same way Paramatma is also advertising about the Jnana Yoga. 34th sloka. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya upadechanti te jnanam jnanidattattvadarsinah. Pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya tattvadarsinah jnaninaha te jnanam upadechanti tat tvam vidhi. May you gain that knowledge by prostration, by service, by proper inquiry. The wise sage will impart that knowledge to you. So once this knowledge is imparted by Krishna Paramatma, Arjuna declared, Nashto mohaha smutir labda tvat prasadat mayachyuta. He said that now I am clear. I will take up the war. Like that, he got rid of that delusion. And then he jumped into action. Iti susruma purvesham yenastad vyachachakshire. This is how the rishis of Ashtari has told. So are we. That is what these rishis in Kenopanishad, they pronounce. Nobody talks the Shastra on his own interpretation or from his own concoctions. This is how a sampradaya, through sampradayam only we are getting this, paramparaya, from Sakshat, that Narayana is the starting Guru. From there onwards we have got this sampradayam. So Guru is a very important thing. One who is not following the sampradaya, don't ever go to him. Asampradayavit Morkhavat upechaniyaha. Shankara Bhagavad Pada says. Shankara Bhagavad Pada often emphasizes Asampradayavit Morkhavat upechaniyaha. So you can simply ignore, even though he is a very intelligent person, if he is not following the parampara, just ignore him. Don't follow his suggestion, especially in the field of spirituality. When you are in the spirituality, when you are following a guru, you ask him, who is your guru? So that Guru Parampara must be there, starting from Narayana. Then only you are in the Sampradaya. Otherwise you are taken for a ride. Asampradaya with Morkhavat upechaniyaha. So you can ignore. So in this particular slokam says, this jnanam, you cannot directly get it from books. You have to approach a Shrotriya Brahmanishta, tad vidhi pranipatena pariprasnena sevaya. You approach a guru in the way it is prescribed. In the Mundaka Upanishad, we have got the prescription how one has to approach a guru. In the same way, you have to approach the guru and do pranipatam. Pranipatam means the sashtanga namaskaram, prostration. And then give comfort to the guru. Make the guru sit comfortably and do some seva, and then pose the question. This is how you can approach a guru. Upadechanti te jnanam. Te jnanam upadechanti. So then what will the Guru do? He will not talk about karma. Te jnanam upadechanti. He talks about the Atma Vidya. If you are lucky, then Jnaninaha Tattvadarshinaha, one who is in the Jnana Nishta, he gives you, he initiates you, he equips you with that Jnanam. That means the Jnanam is through words. So it is like a mirror. So when you want to see yourself, you have to have the mirror. So Guru takes you to the mirror and asks you to stand before that and see your own image. What Guru does is he introduces yourself and he tells your own nature and then makes you understand your reality. So that way you have to approach a Guru, and then through Guru only you can understand the knowledge. This sloka once again we will learn in the next class. With this we'll stop today. Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.